Another day, another 350, another crack at a quarter milli. Yeah, just before we got 30 seconds till we start. If you did win the quarter mil, just quick down the line, guys. What would be the vanity purchase, Brandon? Real quick, what's the one thing you'd buy?
Probably a new TRX Dodge.
Okay,
Truck.
Stopa, you got an extra 250 in your account. What are you spending like 50K, 75K on?
Some kind of sports memorabilia to fill out this bad boy behind me here.
Josh Allen's actual penis in your Theo
In a glass jar.
I'm not sure, Alan. I think that I would take a trip down to Jacksonville and I would hang out with you and we'd have a hell of a weekend.
Very good. For me, I would upgrade. I would make like 100K into a podcast studio. That would be my thing.
There you go.
All right. We're off and running, guys. NFFC, if you want to play, go over to Play NFFC. Justin Jefferson goes 1. Even though I have just generic team names up on the top, if you want to see who the players are when the picks come up, you can see it right on the bottom there. Like, this is my friend Nicky Simone. Nicky Simone was my varsity coach in high school basketball, so he's picking it too. Billy Wazowski 3 takes Tyreek. Ooh, I mean, Theo, talk about this whole taking wide receivers.
I'm a Tyreek 3 guy as well, especially in NFFC. And Billy Wazowski is. If you had to pick 10 people in the entire country to draft a team for you, Billy would be one of them.
Ooh,
I obviously would be the other.
Yeah.
No comment. But Billy Wazowski would certainly be if you're talking about high stakes fantasy football players.
Yeah.
Billy is up there, really, 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 really good. I draft against him a lot, and he's won everything.
Yeah, Brandon, Tyreek, he can't fail this year, right?
No, I think if only way he fails is if Tua fails physically. So I think
even if that happens, right? Isn't it Mike White?
Mike White can sling it too. I think he is more than capable of getting the ball to Tyreek and lighten up the scoreboard. So I kind of like the situation in the QB room. So yeah, I'm all in with Hill. He's got at least a couple more really elite years.
Stopa, any thoughts to a wide receiver, or was it McCaffrey the whole way?
No, I wanted it to be Hill. Because what I like about them is the narrow passing tree. The passing tree in Miami is just so narrow. But I think McCaffrey is just the upside is too high to pass down at that spot. So I'll be able to get some receivers later.
And Mark, he had 7 touchdown catches on 170 targets, so he's gonna also have positive touchdown regression this year. So he's checking all the boxes.
Positive regression? Come on, we got to come up with a better word than.
What do you want me to call it? He's going to score more touchdowns this year. I'll sound like a meathead.
It's progression.
Progression. He'll have touchdown progression, Mark.
Right. I mean, I know we don't say that in fantasy, but that's what it is. It's you can't say it's negative, positive, negative regression. Theo, I saw you do one of these this morning. I mean, 2 NFFCs in one day.
No, that was pre-recorded, but Dan Williamson and I did a prime time last weekend, and we just dropped it because this week's been so loaded with the Deep End Invitational at Player Profiler. So,
by the way, I'm pissed that Bijan just went at 8. I was he's been going in the second round of some of these NFFC drafts. Please.
But he also doesn't last past the turn for a
Dude,
lot
he
of
went
drafts.
at pick 20 in one of these drafts. I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to imitate the comments on every single one of my YouTube videos, but let me in your league, bro.
That's right.
Eckler, good. I'm glad he went. That's one guy I don't want. By the way, I am drinking Jack and Coke, so by round 4, I'm definitely removing my clothes.
All right, Theo, here we go, bud.
Okay.
Oh, good. I mean,
Good pick. I would have taken ARSB there. I like that pick a lot.
Right.
I'm gonna go.
No, I'm up.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alan. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you the pick you want because I am taking AJ Brown.
Ooh.
So I definitely would have considered AJ there too. Those two guys really stand out, especially in this format. I'm going to not get steamed at the wide receiver position, and I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious one.
And then I'm going to go Garrett Wilson.
Yep. Well, I mean, I definitely would have taken Garrett Wilson. This one, by the way, I mean, I'm going to give Brandon who he wants right here because I have just, I'm listening to. We had on the Sirius XM show, guys, last night. We had a Saints beat writer, and oh my God, you would have thought that Chris Olave was a porn star. All these beat writers believe that Chris Olave is going to take the next step into the stratosphere. So I'm going to take him here.
Yeah,
I know there's people that don't like him. Like I've seen him go in like the 3rd round, but I'm totally like recency bias. Love Chris Olave. I'm gonna take the chance there. I almost took Devontae, by the way, and went double Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, like Olave is an elite player, and Derek Carr has supported, a top fantasy asset 4 years in a row. He's not the greatest quarterback, but he had Hunter Renfrow inside of the top 10 wide receivers. He finished, I think, actually wide receiver 11. Devontae Adams last year was wide receiver 3, and then those 2 Darren Waller seasons where he was giving us a huge advantage at the tight end position, 15-plus points per game. So I think, he's supported his number 1 target every year, and it sounds like they're scheming for Olave. And you also get, Allen, the start of the season without those Kamara targets, so you get 3 games of that. So, hey, man.
By the way, I'm pissed off that I just found out that I was commenting on your video in live time, and it was a video. It wasn't a live because I was
so the JSN pick, we ended up with JSN in the 7th, and we were standing on our heads and so happy. And then we get the wrist surgery news. So
I'm just pissed off because I was like, why isn't Theo responding to me? I'm typing to him.
Well, at that entry level, I would not do it live, Alan. I would pre-record because we have done it before, where we've done these live high stakes drafts, and you announce it, you say, "Come watch us," and then your league mates watch you, and you end up either getting sniped or you end up having to say, "Hey, Mark, I'm considering player number 3 in my queue, but I'm also thinking of player number 4 in my queue," and it makes for a terrible, terrible show.
Mark Stopa. I don't want to like focus on my pick, but Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, can those be the next 2 that enter into the stratosphere? I mean, if you're gonna like say, other than Chase and Jefferson, are those the guys that have the best chance next year?
Garrett Wilson, the Jets passing tree is getting narrower and narrower as the bodies keep going away. So, I like him more for that reason than I did a couple weeks ago. And Olave, the Saints are going to be playing a lot of games indoors and a lot against a lot of bad defenses. So, I see upside for both of them.
By the way, I love that now people can get the Kelsey Mahomes stack because the new narrative is that everyone's got the stack. It's 30% owned. Nobody wants that
50,
stack.
50, Alan.
Yeah, 50. Like, all right, I'll still take it. Don't worry about it. I'll take it. I don't care that 50% of people. It's like that guy in DFS. Like, oh yeah, he's 60% owned. Yeah, but you need to have him to win.
That's a good point. I don't know. I feel like it's not just the 50% owned. It's the fact that it's 50% owned and it costs you, in NFFC, it costs you your 1st and 2nd round pick. Yeah. And in some other contests, it costs you like a 1st and a very, very, very early 3rd.
That's the point.
So that's hard the thing. Like last year, Mahomes was being drafted as quarterback 3 in NFFC, and quarterbacks were also getting pushed down the board a lot further. So like all these people won on that stack, and now you have to basically pass up elite wide receiver and elite running back. So that's my only issue with it. But I mean, you have to have at least one in your back pocket if you're playing a bunch of these OCs.
Yeah. I want to just focus this at Brandon and Stopa because I thought that Theo came on the Sirius XM show last night, said something that like really opened my eyes. Theo, once in a while you do that. You said,
"Thank you, Alan. Thank you."
Yeah. You said that some people in the league are playing for like the league prize and other are playing for the grand prize, and I was like, holy shit, like. That's so true because I've been both of those players. I've been playing for the league prize, and I was like, I just want to win the 1,500. And then other times I'm like, I don't care. I want to win the overall. So, Brandon Adam, how are you drafting? Are you drafting for the league prize or are you drafting for the grand prize?
I'm only about the grand prize, man. Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. Like, you got to buy upside to win these things, so do it.
Still,
yeah.
Nobody follows these things to win $1,500, right? What do they advertise? They advertise win $250,000. So let's go. Let's do it.
And then Billy Wazowski, when Billy Wazowski won this online championship 2 seasons ago, he entered the 3-week sprint at like 25th maybe, and then he ran pure for 3 straight weeks and had a huge last week, and ended up winning it all. So, it's
winning it all, meaning like it all. He won the 250.
He won the 250. Billy has won. Billy Wazowski,
who, by the way, is team 3 in our draft.
Yeah, and if you had to say the best NFFC managers out there, like Chad Schroeder, then after that, Billy Wazowski is in the conversation.
I would argue to say that who's the guy that you just had on that did zero running back? What's the
Sean Siegel?
Yeah, Sean Siegel to me is the biggest innovator. But so one of our guys, our team 2, Nicky Simone, he placed 5th one year, and he won. He told me 12-5. I mean, that's pretty good too.
Yeah, you finish in that. I had a second place in one of these contests, but the difference between first and second is huge. So.
And by the way, I would say that winning the prize, I want to see how many entries you did, because I'm not going to say winning the prize makes you a good player. If I get 150 shots,
I disagree, because at the end of the day, it's about winning the prize. And Alan, a lot of those guys that have a bunch of entries, like in a contest like this, they're taking down all those regular seasons too.
It's a good point.
The high volume guys, they're not getting like one entry into the postseason. So I don't know.
Yep.
It's the silver bullet is your contest if you want to play a single entry, which NFFC has.
Stopa, I took Josh Jacobs. I was thinking about I wanted a running back there. I mean, the news that Jacobs is showing up, if we knew Jacobs was happy and content, I would imagine he would be right in the Pollard tier. Are you okay with that pick, or a little too early for you?
I mean, I'm not a Jacobs guy in round 3. Simply because I don't like buying guys off a career year. When we look back in 2 or 3 years, there's very little doubt the last year is going to be Jacobs' career best year. However, he's still, that's a solid value for somebody who has his touch floor, presuming he's going to be back, which I think is pretty clear that he is. He has no leverage. He knows it. He's just using this to not have to go sweat in training camp.
Brandon Adam, Taylor or Josh Jacobs? Who makes you feel a little bit, knowing what we know now, who's the better pick?
I'll just take Jacobs. I think he's going to be ran into the ground this year. Last year, why not all in for them and just lean on him heavy? I mean, who else is there besides Adams? Not too much.
Yeah. I mean, Jacoby Myers. I don't want to. You know what? We're going to make a rule. We're going to make a rule. No calling out players' names that have not been drafted. Theo is famous for that.
Table talk. Table talk will get you killed in some tables, Alan. We talked about that. And if you table talk in the wrong auction, that's that gets people.
All right. I've been watching a lot of like mafia documentaries. Let me test you. I'll start off with something easy. What's it called when you kill someone in the mafia?
You whack them.
Right. Okay. Or there's another word. It starts with a C. You clip them.
Clip them. Yeah.
There you go. Clip them. Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. So.
Well, by the way, for listeners, I like drafting at the beginning of these drafts because I think that there's a big drop off in wide receiver after Deebo Samuel, who I just took. So I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but I think that's the end of a tier there. So I felt really fortunate to get him at the end of that tier.
Yeah, no, I'm down with Deebo. Hey, what do you guys think about Calvin Ridley? He went in round 2 to my boy Nicky Simone.
Yeah, I was going to take him if he was there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Ridley when he was in round 3, so I'm okay that he's going to be good. There's so many, like, I love Derrick Henry. I love Jalen Hurts. I love, T. Higgins. The only player I don't like is the one I drafted, Josh Jacobs. I'm not comfortable with Ridley because in round 2, I just want like a floor.
Yeah.
Well, I think he has a floor. It's just does the ceiling
his floor is quitting football.
I think that's all over and done with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Psychologist guys.
I think we could turn the page on that. I think he's very motivated to.
Can I tell you something? I had guys that I referee high school basketball. They quit in the middle of games. I'm not so sure they're when they come back they're going to last another game. They say they're better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. All the reports with Ridley are very positive, and I when we first started drafting, I thought he would be a little closer in ADP to Christian Kirk, and the gap just keeps getting larger and larger, and there's no pushback by anyone. It's kind of universal that Ridley is our alpha. This is the plan that they're going to feature him. Now, whether it works out or not is, we got to see when it comes on the field, but he certainly looks good from what the limited stuff we've seen.
Oh, shit, guys. We got 18 messages here. I'm going to put them up on the screen. Here you go. I'm going to answer the Debo is a big fade. Oh, Sopo.
Oh, shout out to Permar99, who was in my chat at a couple of shows.
Ayuk 100 times better.
Ayuk is a beast.
Guy.
What are you talking about? Hold on. Let me go through these. 100% disagree with third round reversal. Oh, my God. Not an NFFC fan. Okay, all right. So let's see what else we got here. Robert Gold. Oh, he's in it. I agree with you, Mark. He's in the draft, Goldman. So there you go. A nice Irish fella, Robert Goldman.
And Permar, you have the third round reversal, but you also have the KDS system. So the four of us picked our draft slot 1 through 12, and then they have basically a lottery. So that's kind of the equalizer. So the Flex Network, Sleeping with the Fishes. That's a beautiful Luca Brasi. We got another one. Jacobs is a bum. Has no money like you. Okay, all right.
All right.
Our boy Kevin Bachlich, who everybody knows. My guys. All right, we'll take that. Woo, Ric Flair. All right, hold on a second. We got a bunch of messages, guys. Hold on, let's throw them up.
Nice.
There we go. Shane, our guy Shane says, "Ooh, here we go. Bunch of sharks." It's not. There we go. Let me see if I got anything else worth putting up. Regression towards the mean. Robert Goldman.
Thank you.
Yes.
I like that.
And then someone rooting for Nicky Simone. Look at this. Fantasy Football Laboratory. Nicky Simone, again, nicest guy I've ever known in my entire life and was the best basketball coach in Long Island. So we'll
Oyster Bay is the hometown.
Yes, but he teaches
Tino.
Yep, and he teaches in another. I forget where he teaches, but it's yeah. So anyway, okay. So here we go, guys.
Sopa, that's the counter argument to your Debo falls off.
I'm peeing real quick, guys. Keep going.
Is you have the Keenan Allen and then Christian Watson, and those options kind of get you a little bit excited. At least for me, they do. But yeah, definitely those three kind of stand out, especially with Jerry Jeudy going down, who I thought was a safe, guy that you're kind of excited about getting in the fourth. He's gone, with this hamstring injury. So you got a nice team with the Debo and Christian Watson. Last time I drafted with you, I took Watson at 37. So.
Hey, Najee Harris, guys, dropping to the. Why is he dropping? Because the
let me.
Go, talk. Oh, Stopa froze. All right.
So, Alan, he's dropping because his receptions went from 70s to 40s. And also, Jalen Warren's a thing. So, Najee Harris a purgatory pick in the fourth.
We are really putting. Oh, wow. Warren, Andrews in the fourth. That's nice. I like that. That's pretty good.
That was value.
Yeah, that's good. The one thing is they always.
I contemplated Andrews at my pick, but let me go back to the Debo. I want to answer that question on Theo. In my view, Debo is somebody we talked at the beginning. You want to draft to win $250,000. Debo has the upside to be a top 5 receiver. Most of these other guys here don't. Look at his stats from 2 years ago. they were ridiculous. He's a tournament winner type of player if he hits his upside. I don't think Keenan Allen, for example, went right after him. I don't think he remotely has that. I don't think he remotely has that upside to finish among those, top 5 or 6 receivers overall like Debo does. So you guys disagree with that?
I'm pretty high on Keenan Allen this year. I think that, he's going to be in that CeeDee Lamb role in the Kellen Moore offense. And the way he ended last year, Mark, when he came back, he was giving you top 8 wide receiver production, week in, week out. He obviously missed some time, but he was sensational to end the year. And it sounds like that's going to be the big feature of this Kellen Moore attack. So, but again, it's like pulling hair here, because I do like Debo. I see
splitting hairs, not pulling
hairs. Splitting hairs. So I'm with you, but I think Christian Watson has an incredible upside as well. Based on the small sample size, but he's very, very talented. Okay, Alan, here we go.
Yep, I'm just so you know, I'm looking at a quarterback here, but I purposely did not take the quarterback because you have one already. So, were you even considering Ramondre or no way?
No, I didn't want Ramondre.
Yeah. I mean, ended a 4th round. I mean, he was like a 2nd round pick. So, I'm a big Zeke guy too. So I'm just, fading myself.
I like Ramondre there.
Yeah, at this spot, it's fine. All right, what's Theo gonna do?
I'm gonna take Darren Waller.
Oh, that's who I was gonna take on the way back. All right, so you got me there.
And I am going to take.
Now I'm pissed.
Drake London.
All right, I definitely was not going to take him, but I am pissed off. I'm officially pissed off. Oh, boy. That is not fun for me.
That's nice value on London. Nice value on London there. I considered London when I took Watson.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the alpha in him, and, he flashed last season, and like you said, Mark, the wide receiver position dries up so much, so people have concerns about the volume, but definitely not the talent.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about Waller for a minute here. I took him in our first NFFC draft, guys, in the 6th round. Brandon Adam, Darren Waller. There, the obvious considerations about his injuries, but I mean, shouldn't he really be like the tight end 2?
I was debating him there, but I took the elite quarterback instead. But Waller was definitely in consideration. He's skyrocketing up everybody's board right now. It's just a complete funnel to him, so opportunities are going to be many.
Theo, it's almost like a joke now. People saying, "Oh, yeah, he's going to get hurt." Like, just because he's been hurt a couple years does not mean he's going to be hurt this year. In fact, I would almost say, like, we made a joke about like positive regression. Isn't it almost like McCaffrey? You've been hurt 2 years. The 3rd year, you're not hurt.
Yeah, I mean, Darren Waller is steaming up big time. In that prime time I was in the other night, one of the sharper NFFC players pushed him into the 3rd.
Yeah, but that's NFFC, not
NFFC, not FFPC. In FFPC, he's living in the 3rd. That's tight end premium, and he's also, in this board correctly did it with all the kind of the extracurricular TJ Hawkinson stuff going on. He's leapt TJ Hawkinson in the high stakes world. If you're drafting, outside of, high stakes, you're still seeing Hawkinson go ahead of Waller. But at the end of the day, like, if we're going to take an elite tight end, we want a guy that can get north of 100 targets. We want a guy who can lead his team in targets. And with Waller, we have both. And I also believe in the scheme. I believe in Brian Dable. So I'm in on Waller at cost. I've been taking him a lot lately, and I think Allen, like, if you start really looking at like the target totals, if you had to pick the tight ends that could get you 130 targets, it's a very short list. And I think that Waller is one of the better bets there. And how many tight ends are going to lead their team in targets and maybe red zone looks? It's Waller checks all the boxes. Yeah,
I mean, every time I talk to my colleague and friend Jim Coventry, I said, he's low on Waller because of the injuries. I said, it's not I don't know. I guess there is that chance, but you can draft Darren Waller early and still take another tight end that you like late that has some decent floor. Guys, without table talking, there was a significant injury in football today. It was a Denver Broncos wide receiver. Without going too much, let's just not, Jerry Jeudy was hurt today. Overall, without saying where you think he'll go, let's just go down the line. We'll start with Stopa. Whether you're in on Jeudy or not, do you think that affects his draft? How do you think that affects his draft price? Not just for the professional markets like we're playing in tonight, but overall. What do you think about that injury? We're already seeing him
right now
drop.
He is right now in the average ADP rankings of this system. He's the top listed player there because he just got hurt today, and the ADPs haven't had enough time to change. So we're all seeing him. That's not a secret there. It's got to be a multi-round drop in my view. This looks like he could miss 6 weeks of the season, and then is he going to be right even when he does come back? So he's going to be free falling. There's really not any. I don't think that's a big secret here. It just has to happen.
Somebody just asked what I'm drinking. It's Jack and Coke, and I'll admit, I might be a little tipsy right now. So if I start cursing, and removing my pants, the NFFC and RotoWire are not responsible, right, Theo?
No, you're absolved by alcohol. I believe in this country, if you say I'm drunk enough, you get out of crime.
Hey, so guys, I just saw Deontay Johnson go in round 5. I put out a Deontay. So I put a Deontay Johnson video on our TikTok account on RotoWire, our highest viewed video of all time, and it's because it's. And again, by the way, I'm happy that it's our highest viewed, but it's literally 99% of the comments are telling me why I'm an asshole because George Pickens is going to be better than him, but yet the professional drafters are still taking Deontay ahead of George Pickens. Now, listen, table talk, yada, yada. George Pickens is fair game at this point for anybody. So, Theo, Deontay Johnson in PPR or George Pickens given? This, again, is putting it to the test. There's a lot of good highlights out there.
Can I cop out and say structurally, if I really needed predictable volume on my team?
That's not a cop out, by the way. This is a strategy response.
Okay, so like Mark referenced, if you're going for a big number at the end of the year and you want extreme upside, George Pickens is that DeAndre Hopkins dog in him. He's a 50-50 ball winner. He's the more likely of the two to ever have a touchdown game. If I need a wide receiver 3. And I have wide receiver volatility, Deontay Johnson, is going to get me 140 targets. And, last year he let people down without the touchdowns, but he's one of the most predictable players in football in terms of he's getting 140 targets or more each season. And then his previous seasons before last year, he'd had at least 5 touchdown catches in each one. So he's fine. But I also like Pickens.
All right, guys. Brandon.
Yep.
I traded you earlier in the year. I gave you a first-round pick in a dynasty league, plus George Pickens for Chris Olave. You have to be feeling a lot better about that today than you did 2 months ago.
First, that was a rebuild for sure. That was towards the future, but yeah, I'm leaning towards that pick. But George Pickens is highlight reel wide receiver. He's earning
there he
more
goes
and
in
more
round
volume.
6, by the way.
I think he's going to be great. But Olave is a guy I'm very high on as well. So,
all right. Well, that makes me feel better that you gave up something to give something.
Yeah.
I just took Dotson. Why are people still taking McLaurin over Dotson? I think there's a strong argument to reverse that. We know that McLaurin has a turf toe injury. I think even before that it was probably 40% that Dotson finished with better stats, and now it's to me it's a coin flip, and if gun to head, I'd probably bet on Dotson finishing with better stats because turf toe, we all know, can linger, and even though they say it's minor, I'm concerned about that. So I would argue those two need to be flipped.
And I have seen them flipped a lot this week. Mark.
Mhm.
Like I think I've seen it happen in a bunch of these high stake drafts where Jahan Dotson steamed way, way, way up, and McLaurin's usually getting drafted maybe one pick after him, 2 picks after him. So they're close in ADP, but I'm with you. I think Dotson's going to have a hell of a season. And yeah, turf toe, I think they're really downplaying the turf toe is something annoying that lingers. And if you look at turf toe history with players, there's a lot of seasons that are kind of lost to it. Not like you're not playing, but your performance goes down.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things that just lingers all year. And that's like, short of a season-ending injury, that's the last thing I want to see one of my players have. So, I think it's one of those things where people see McLaurin higher in the list based on ADP up to this point, and so they think, oh, the injury happened, so the injury's minor, so we should still take him first. I think that should be reversed. So let's see what happens with other stuff, I guess.
What do they say? You're preaching to the converted. Like we are believers in Dotson over McLaurin. We've talked about it on podcasts, so we are with you there. Dotson, a touchdown catcher, 20 touchdowns the last 2 years in his Penn State, and then last year, he's like a supercharged Tyler Lockett. So I'm with you there. I like that. Brandon Adam on the clock right here. All right, Alvin Kamara. All right, you guys talk through this while I agonize over this pick.
I just think he's looked very good in preseason. He's going to have an opportunity. I'm willing to move past that. He'll be a huge value as RB2 moving on after week 3. I think he's too good to pass up right here. I just don't trust Cam Akers. I don't trust Miles Sanders. I don't trust Dalvin Cook. I don't trust DeAndre Swift, and I'm a Swift guy. I just think Alvin Kamara, his volume will be there. And even though his efficiency is down, that's fine.
Yeah, no, big bench. You can hold him. I reached a little on Addison. Now that the case is settled and that he's back on the field making plays, I already saw some stuff. By the way, someone tried to offer me KJ Osborne in a dynasty league today. I mean, they want to get. You guys are going to laugh because but some guy, my man Johnny Bomber, I love him. He's probably watching the stream. He wanted Tank Bigsby for KJ Osborne. I basically I took it out. I took a dick pic and I sent it to him. There's no way. There you go. Good pick with Sutton. There you go. All right, here we go. I think this is the round, guys, for Kyle Pitts. Don't love it. Not a Kyle Pitts fan, but this is the year. 3rd-year breakout, right? Wah, 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 wah.
No, 7th round there.
Yeah. Hey, everyone in the chat, do us a favor. Put out who you think the big breakout that nobody, 6th, 7th, 8th round, that's just going to blow up and just be like the guy this year. So in the chat, the breakout player that you love this year, it could be a 4th round, a 5th rounder, it doesn't matter, but just let us know who you think is going to be the player that just blows the F up this year. All right, let's review our teams. I'm going to go with Stopas first. He takes the hero running back with McCaffrey, his boy Josh Allen, and then just smashes wide receiver Debo, Christian Watson. Damn it, I was going to take him in the 3rd. I should have done that. Tyler Lockett, Jahan Dotson. A+ Stopa. All right, then we go over to our guy Brandon Adam, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Tony Pollard. Wow, gets 2 of his first-round value picks. T. Higgins, Herbert, McLaurin. Oh, wait a second. Stopa called you out. You didn't get a chance to respond. Why are you taking McLaurin over Dotson?
I took him. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think McLaurin is a veteran. He's going to be fine. If he says he's fine, he's playing, he's going to be the number 1. I get what you're saying with Dotson. He's going to have great matchups. He'll have blow-up weeks, but I think the volume is going to go towards Terry, and so will the paychecks as well. He just got paid. I think he's going to be the number 1 guy in that offense, and I don't think it's particularly close.
Interesting.
All right.
I will say to add on that, and I think debate styles are great. So, obviously
absolutely.
nothing personal here, but I'd say that you're
No, make
gonna
it personal.
have
No, wait, hold on a
injuries during the
sec.
course of
Make
the
it
year.
personal. Tell him this is a referendum on his soul, on his
Go
life.
for it. I'm getting yelled at by my guys from our fantasy show right now because I took McLaurin because we're dotsing people, but I thought the value was there.
Go ahead, Stopa. Go.
The injuries are going to happen in the course of a season, and so I try not to start out with injured players because then that's where you're going to really get into problems. If you're starting out with guys who are injured and then you get other guys who are injured, you can really have problems that way. I've learned that the hard way.
Hey guys, so just a little promotional cycle here as we're talking about this draft. Mark Stopa and I will be on the RotoWire live stream on this channel tomorrow, breaking down this draft. And also, I didn't tell Stopa this, but I want you to come up with a few critical mistakes from every team and every even experienced drafters make. So we're going to talk about the biggest blunders that drafters make. Brandon Adam, you are doing a podcast for the DFS Army and the Flex Network. Where can everyone find that real quick?
YouTube, dfsarmy.com. We have a link down on the homepage that you can check out. And we also have our YouTube channel. On Twitter, we're at the Flex Network as well. Check us out anytime. Every Saturday we do a pod, throughout the whole season. So
yeah, no, that's appointment viewing for me. I love that podcast. You and a bunch of guys yelling at each other and just spewing takes. It's a good one. And Theo, your newest show. What are the you're on Player Profiler? Everybody knows Player Profiler, but what are the 2 or 3 shows that you guys have coming up in the in season that you want to tell everyone about?
Oh yeah, thank you, Alan. We had just added the Fantasy Empire, which is Nando Defino and Chris Vaccaro. And Chris Vaccaro is in the NFFC Hall of Fame. He's one of the better drafters. And Nando is a tremendous podcaster, and those guys have had a show for years. They're bringing it over to Player Profiler. We have a bunch of new shows starting, Alan. It's very exciting.
Tell everyone, this is the time.
We have Dear Ms. Fantasy with Tara Roberts starting up. She's really, really, really good. It's going to be a show, like a question show, and she's also going to do a weekly preview. We have some DFS shows that are kind of, going hiatus during the summer that come back. We have the Big Tilt on Friday nights with Chase Vernon starting up. And we have a couple other shows we haven't announced yet, Alan, but in the woodworks. So we're gonna have a loaded schedule. But my show is Sonic Truth with Alan and Matt Kelly, the Podfather, and then I do First Class Fantasy with Billy Muzio, and I do Press Coverage, which is my solo pod, which has been we've had a couple of really good episodes lately. So Curtis Patrick tomorrow.
So Theo, we have a I'm trying to think who the hell it was. I was talking to somebody. They said anytime I call Theo, he's always doing something else. And you know what? I concur with that. Like, you're doing so many podcasts, and I was about to goof on you. I was like, do you ever spend time with your children? But that's not true because
all the time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm talking to you. I'm trying to talk to you about like Jerry Judy's injury, and you're like, hold on one second. Hey, give him the cookies and cream cake. Give him the cookies and cream. Like
we were at the ice cream parlor.
Right, where you're constantly doing stuff with those kids and I don't know how you do it. Do you sleep, Theo?
Not this time of year. This time of year is a lot of cold brew. My Dunkin' Donuts bill for cold brew is gross, and I'm very caffeinated. But once the season hits, it's a lot easier because the drafts kind of slow down, and when you're podcasting. I feel like this time of year you try to cram in as much as possible. And then once week 1 starts, it's like an actual schedule. So,
Mark Stopa, our boy Dalton Del Don takes Khalil Herbert. This is the earliest I've seen him go. Round 8.
Wow.
We love Dalton Del Don, but that's a full belief in Khalil Herbert.
That's funny because I took Herbert today in round 8 in a best ball for the first time. And I think it's appropriate. He has been all summer. People have said like Tony Pollard is underdrafted because now he's finally got the job and he's going to explode. And that's as a second round pick. Herbert now probably has the job, and he's getting taken. We're saying an 8th round pick is early. That's where he should have been going all summer. And I have a large percentage of Herbert in best ball. This is where he's belonged all summer, if not earlier. I have no problem at all with that pick.
Theo.
Agreed.
Khalil Herbert. I mean, you're a Roshan Johnson truther.
No. You keep trying to put this on me. We've. Oh no. Was that you that had to try to put that on me?
Yes. Well, I tried to have you fight with Mario, and you totally.
Yeah, I said
you totally put your tail between your legs and ran.
Well, because I think if I think who's the better prospect and who is the player that I'd rather have from a dynasty perspective, it would definitely be Roshan. But in terms of who's going to get me points to start out this season, Khalil Herbert's running ahead. I think there's a chance Deonta Foreman could get cut, which would make both of them a much bigger value. We've seen Khalil steam up to the 8th round in pretty much every format now. And Roshan's still going 2 rounds later. But if they get rid of Foreman, then you'll see Herbert be a 7th rounder. And I think Roshan will be treated some of these higher end handcuff types.
Yeah, I like our guy Goldman, our Irish friend. I love his team. He went Eckler and Barkley. By the way, Pat Kerrane won the $3 million last year in underdog with an Eckler Barkley start. So
and Ramondre Stevenson was on that team.
Ooh, okay, all right. I mean, goes Metcalf and Hopkins. Trevor Lawrence takes Treylon Burks right there. Brandon Adams up. Also has Miles Sanders, who is, talk about a roller coaster. Miles Sanders has been up in the 5th. He's been down in the 7th. Wow. Mark Stopa, Miles Sanders. What do you think? I know in the 8th round, it's in the 7th round, it's an easy, it's like a neutral pick, but what do you expect from the Panthers this year?
I'm not a Sanders guy. That goes back to what I said before about Jacobs. I hate taking guys who just had their career year. I think we're going to look back and see that's what Sanders was last year. Just such a massive downgrade in the surrounding offensive talent and in the offensive line talent with the scheme that he's in now. He's somebody who, for me, when other people take him, I'm just kind of good. That's somebody I didn't have in my queue.
Theo, I am not liking my team. You were up on the clock here for 2. Sky Moore. I love this guy when he was in the 11th round, but now it's damn, these receivers are just going. Let's see. I'll let you make your pick. You don't have a running back on your squad here, so I'm assuming
thinking about this one.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Alan, I think I'm going to do. I don't like doing it, but I'm going to bet on. No, I don't want to do it. I'm going to take Antonio Gibson for the first pick.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Brandon Adam, I see. Antonio Gibson, you've been a long-time truther.
Big time.
Explain why.
His passing upside. They like to throw the ball to him in the red zone as well. I think Sam Howell is going to be he's going to be a lot better than people understand and should be on everybody's radar for any deep stash.
I see Brian Robinson going ahead of him sometime. Obvious mistake, right?
Yeah. Well, it just depends on format. If it's a 0.5, I can see Brian Robinson, but if it's full PPR, I'm going Gibson every time.
In standard, not 0 PPR. You're still taking Gibson. Stop it.
Yeah. I'm Gibson guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to actually bet on a double tap here, Alan. I don't like doing it. I think it limits my upside, but if I hit on some other running backs, I think I'm going to double tap the Washington running back spot.
Stopa, react to this. Washington
He's not gonna like it. Stopa will not like it. It's very much a safe pick, but I love my wide receivers. I think I have a leg up on wide receiver, and I think I have a leg up on most teams at tight end. So I'm going to take a very safe approach with this selection, and I'm going to go with my 8-9 turn, same backfield.
Go ahead, Stopa, react.
It's not generally my approach, but I like buying into the Washington offense. I agree with what we were just saying about Howell. And, if one of those guys gets hurt, the other one is going to be a smash play. And in a way, you kind of hope that happens where one of them separates from the other.
How dare you?
where you feel comfortable starting one of them every week. So, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I probably should have chopped it up. I mean, the two running backs who went right after, Jamal Williams would have given you a
September
potential 3-week run,
right?
And you could have potentially hit the waiver wire. And then Charbonnet is, an elite handcuff type, but I want to roll the dice. I want more exposure to the Washington offense in general, and I'm going to bet on this way.
Yeah, no, I see what you're doing there. This is like where the professional drafters, you're giving up like immediate value for, hey, what could go wrong so my thing could go right. I mean, it's a hedge on yourself.
Oh, so. I'm really betting on one of them. Like we think we understand the usage and we think we understand it, and I think we take a step back and look and think it could be kind of a split. But I think I'm betting on the fact that I think that one of them, by like week 3, I think the offense is going to beat expectations. I like Bieniemy. I like the way Howell looks. And I'm thinking that there's going to be one of them that I'm going to want to start every single week. And then the other one has the big-time contingent upside if he goes down. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping it's not a split. A true split would kind of mess this up completely.
All right, guys, real quick question here. I'll start with, we'll go down the line because Stopa's coming up. So I'll start with Brandon Adam.
Hold on. No, hold on. I just did the exact same thing with Penny. So I doubled up on the Eagles backfield at a cheap, which I think is better at a cheaper price. So I can't say I'm completely adverse to what you just did with Washington. Yeah, a little cheaper, but essentially the same concept. But I like that backfield even better, and I think my guys have massive upside in the event that one of them gets hurt because the Eagles' offensive line is just so good. So just following up on that, I did the same thing.
So Theo and Stopa are connected for life now. I mean, you guys are associated.
We're cuff brothers.
Hey, guys, I'm just curious real quick. Brandon Adam, how do you watch football on Sunday? Do you have Red Zone? Are you going to do YouTube TV this year? What's your setup when you watch on Sunday?
I got Red Zone on laptops and also just my main DirecTV too.
There's no DirecTV anymore, just so you know. Like, that changed.
Oh, well then, yeah, YouTube will be it. Then
all right, so for me, I have the YouTube TV on the main screen, four cubes, and then I'm going to have Red Zone on the computer, and then I'm going to have the game that I'm betting on the phone. Stopa, how are you going to do it this year?
Well, first of all, shame on you for not coming down and checking out my theater room, because I
love that theater room.
I have a 120-inch projection screen that is the main TV. I have 2 TVs to the side of that. I usually will have the main TV on the picture-in-picture, 8 games at once, Sunday 1 p.m. And then I'll have the Red Zone on one of the TVs adjacent to that, and then I'll have the Bills game as a stick on one of the other TVs. So that's my setup.
There's no more, just so you know, there's no more Octobox. There's going to be a 4-game on YouTube. Well, maybe on Red Zone there'll be an Octobox, but there's going to be a 4-game where you can hit the volume on different ones. Theo, what's going to be your setup? Have you bought the YouTube Sunday ticket yet?
No, I haven't. I have not done that yet. I right now I'm just a Red Zone guy, and then I try to consume the games that I write the waiver wire column. So the games that I want to get like a full look at, I'll watch on Game Pass and consolidated. So that's kind of been like my way of doing it. And then I usually have another TV with like one of the local games on. But Red Zone for me, I'm addicted to Red Zone. It's just, Yeah,
no, Red Zone's. I remember when Red Zone.
Hard to get away from Red Zone when you're on the road and don't have Red Zone. It's super annoying. Red Zone has kind of ruined us a little bit. Used to sit there and watch every single special teams play, and now you're just like, it's like the ADD generation.
Yeah, well, I just Red Zone's made for fantasy players. It's made for gamblers. I mean, it's all the plays that matter to us. You know what? The one thing that I have a question on, if anyone knows this in the chat, I'm just curious. Dalton wrote 8 screens is brutal. Dalton wrote that. So it's, but I think now they're going to have the 4 screens, Dalton, and they're going to have, you can flip through the volume of each one of those. So the 8 screens is bad. You can't see anything, but if you can have 4 screens and then have like the volume on each one. I think that's a good add to that. Dalton's team, by the way, he has Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle. I mean, that's not a bad start. Jonathan Taylor in the third, Jahmyr Gibbs in the fourth. How does that happen? Jahmyr Gibbs in the fourth, Theo. I had to take him in the third in the draft.
Jahmyr Gibbs went 20th overall in the prime time.
Dalton's team. Dalton's team. He has Deontay in the fifth, Hawkinson in the sixth. All right, everyone, just send your $350 to Dalton right now. I think Marquise Brown. That's fine. Bateman, who obviously has upside, and Khalil Herbert. I want to shit on Dalton's team a little bit, Stopa, but picking 6 right in the middle, it looks like he's scooped up all the value.
I mean, obviously a bright guy. He's done a lot of this stuff. I've done many, many drafts with him for years. If you're going to shit on his team at all, it's to say he has not gotten one of the elite quarterbacks, and it is.
And now he just takes Richardson. He just takes Richardson.
And he just got some upside there. So I was just about to say it's hard to get upside at quarterback later on, and then he filled it literally right as we were talking. It's almost like he flipped the bird to me live on the air. So there we are.
So let me just say this: if I don't win the 250, I hope someone in this league does. Is that a fair statement?
That's nice of you to say, Alan.
Very nice.
Too good. All right. So who's coming up here? We have Joe Nowak. By the way, this guy's been drafting with me forever. Oh, you can't see his name on the thing. I have the name up here. Nowak. Let's see what he has. Oh, okay. Dalton Kincaid. I'll let Stopa talk to this one here. Oh, he also has Go ahead.
Dalton and I are texting about Kincaid in the league chat room. I love Kincaid. It's funny because I didn't, before training camp started, I was off Kincaid because his usage was unclear and the whole rookie tight end thing. But from the moment the training camp started, he's been running exclusively with the ones. It's very clear the Bills are going to run a ton of 2 tight end, and he's not going to be an inline tight end. He's going to be essentially their slot receiver. I think that he is. I bet him at 45-1 to be offensive rookie of the year. I think he has a really solid chance to set the rookie tight end receiving records tied to Josh Allen. I was hoping to be able to get him, and unfortunately Dalton beat me to it by drafting him well before ADP. So I like Kincaid's upside in a format like this a lot. Next year, you think about like what might the drafts look like next year? He could easily be around 4 guy after what he does this year.
He could put up Pitt's numbers from 2 years ago. He's tremendous.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid is awesome.
I'm going to take Jacoby Myers. I know it's a boring pick, but I mean,
you love Jacoby Myers.
Don't love him. I love that nobody else loves him. I mean, he was always good when he didn't score touchdowns. Imagine he has a 7 touchdown year. He's going to be like there was one year Hunter Renfrow was like wide receiver 13. Why can't that be Jacoby? Oh, I'm back on the clock. Good pick with Bigsby. All right, guys. It's here. Talk through this while I make my pick. Oh, I already know what it's going to be. Here we go. Just in case Pitts doesn't do well, I think Pat Freiermuth has a chance to be like the new Mark Andrews.
Freiermuth was a top MyQ there.
Yeah. All right, good.
Yeah, Freiermuth certainly fell. That was the best player on the board in my view.
Right. And then since I don't have a strong wide receiver 3, I figure Freiermuth could be, the flex.
Right.
Guys.
Well, that I don't like. I don't like playing tight end at flex, but
no, of course not. It's in the NFFC, it's terrible. In the FFPC, it's fine. In the NFFC, it's a horrible pick. All right, so Goldman, my guy, my Irish friend, takes Zeke. Let's just talk touchdowns only, rushing touchdowns only. Brandon Adam, how many rushing touchdowns is Zeke going to have? How many rushing touchdowns is Ramondre Stevenson going to have?
Well, last year Ramondre had 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
So
Zeke had
the year
12,
before.
by the way.
The year
Zeke
before,
had 12. I think you could argue Ramondre's still going to get around 8, 9. I think he came up short a couple times. I owned him in late last year, so I watched him come up short a few times. But Zeke, I honestly don't think Zeke is that great. He's not going to do it like Jamal Williams did with the Lions or anything. So I would say 5, 6, maybe touchdowns for Zeke.
I want no part of Zeke. He's old. He's fat. Thank you. Somebody else takes him. Thank you very much.
I agree. Like, why take that risk? Yeah.
We talk about winning $250,000. To me, there is no scenario where Zeke is part of a formula to win $250,000. I want the upside guys like Algier, Eli Mitchell. Those are recent backs who've gone recently here. Those are the kind of guys that you want at this stage, not Zeke.
Yeah. What do you think of Kenneth Gainwell right now? Since he went off the board already.
Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
I'm out there. We know who he is.
Okay.
He doesn't have enough upside. I took the two Eagles backs who have upside. I'm not a Gainwell guy at all.
Hey,
he's too established in the league to break out.
So our guy Dalton Del Don takes Anthony Richardson. We were all jealous of that. Takes Tua, who, and by the way, in a Superflex dynasty, I mean, that Theo and I went in the second round. I mean, that means that people have a lot of confidence in him. Who do you start week 1? Do you start Tua against the Chargers, or do you start who are the Colts playing in week 1? They're playing some shitty team, I think.
You definitely start Tua until you've seen it.
Against the Chargers?
Yeah, I still think that game flow is going to be high scoring enough.
Right.
I'm rolling out with Miami in that. I mean, Brandon, you got to like that game from a DFS perspective as one that could just tilt.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the game I'm chasing. The Colts could also have a couple of games where they're really taking the air out of the football, and you end up with like 2017 type games where they don't want to get too, tricky with what they're throwing at the rookie, and trying to keep him in the right place where he's not forcing balls. So game flow for the Colts could be really annoying. You're banking on Richardson running for 100 yards, which he's going to have a bunch of high rushing games, but I don't know, man. Right out the gate, I would want to go with Tua, who was on a point per game basis. Tua was very good last year.
Hey, guys, so I took Pat Freiermuth in round 11. I see Dalton Schultz goes in round 11 as well, who's been the, basically the target monster over there in the preseason. This is the reason why you don't take Kyle Pitts in round 7. I'm again, just focusing in on my own team here for a moment here. And then you see Tua go in round 11. This is the way, we're always trying to find, like, who's the weight on quarterback guy? And I'm like, oh, Dak Prescott, it's Jordan Love, it's Daniel Jones, it's Tua Tagovailoa, right? I mean, he's the guy that could really be the top 5 player. If in a single quarterback league, that's kind of who you pick. I mean, that's the right way to do it. I don't even know why we all reach for these upside quarterbacks.
If you get one of his 2 top targets, I like that. If you get one of his 2 targets, if you're going to win $250,000 with Tua, it's because you're tied to one of his 2 top receivers.
Yeah, you got to have the Hill stack.
He has in this league, he's got Waddle, and
that's
Tua.
good enough. That's good. And then he's perfect.
All right, Theo. I know you love rookies, and I know you love Kincaid. Laporta just went off the board to Team Tracy. My guy, Nicky Simone, just took Chigakonkwo. Juxtapose those two. Who do you think has the better fantasy asset? Is it Sam Laporta or is it Chigakonkwo?
I'm not opposed to Chig, but I like Laporta, Alan. I think Laporta's a stud. You also get, I always like this time of year, I always try to lean a little bit into some of these Lions and Chiefs because you get that free look. So, the free look play in the OC is, if you put Laporta in your lineup, but if he doesn't perform, you can put in a different tight end. So that's always a little bit of an advantage. But I think Laporta is going to have a really big role. That's an offense that's going to pass a ton. Whereas Tennessee, I think that it's going to be a lot for DeAndre Hopkins. Chig is definitely gets a little bit more of a boost with Treylon being kind of banged up out the gate. And Chig's a very talented guy. It's just a bet on volume. If I have to bet on the targets, I'm betting on Laporta. And Chig is a big play guy, but Laporta is also a big play guy. Laporta has wheels. He's got yak ability, and he's going to be a threat in the red zone. So I like Laporta a lot.
All right.
I want to talk about a guy I just took well above ADP, and that is Marvin Mims.
Mm-hmm.
ADP has not been established yet.
I took Marvin Mims at the 11:01 today, Mark. It's the guy. You got a Jerry Jeudy injury. You're right to take him there. That's
all right. So everything you're about to say, except for took him above ADP. Go.
Yeah. The Broncos passing tree started out in the beginning of the summer. It was really broad, and they've had a ton of injuries now, and all of a sudden it looks really narrow. Denver traded up to get Mims as their first draft pick in this latest draft, so he could become a target monster, especially if you're not a Sutton guy, which I haven't been. He could be a target monster. So don't be afraid to take Mims well above his ADP right now is what I'd say to listeners on this.
That's actually sound advice because Marvin Mims, he was already starting in 3 wide receiver sets. Guys, I mean, Brandon Cooks was wide receiver 22 under Sean Payton in his rookie year. Why the hell can't Marvin Mims be a top 35 wide receiver his rookie year?
No, Marvin Mims absolutely can. It's he's kind of like Brandon Cooks, and he's in the Sean Payton offense, and they traded up for him. I will say, Courtland Sutton was not somebody I wanted to ever consider this year, but I think Courtland Sutton is going to be a thing this year. I think Courtland Sutton is going to be heavily targeted. Their offense is kind of forced into it, and he's lost weight. I like hearing that with a guy that struggled last year. But I think where Mark got Mims, it's an absolute steal right now. But again, and where Sutton's going around ADP and these NFFCs, I think is fine. He burned a lot of people last year, but
hey guys, I took Raheem Mostert right here.
I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, our friend Theo Cody Carpentier was at Miami camp and said it's Raheem Mostert is the start. This is before the injury to Devon Achane. Now, of course, Taylor being traded there would hurt this, but Mostert was the running game. He was the guy. So in the 12th round, I mean, I'm just looking at September here. I mean, it's not pretty, but I'll take Raheem Mostert. Brandon Adam, I know you love rookies too.
Yep.
Devon Achane.
Yep.
Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert.
Yep.
Is Jonathan Taylor going to be traded there, or do you like?
I think if they're all
Theo.
in to win a Super Bowl, they do it. Makes sense. They got cap room. I think they could do it, and it would make a lot of sense. If I'm the GM, I would, because their window is small. So Tyreek's not super young, so I think it would be a good move. They're competing with the Bills. You got it, and the Jets.
I'm upset right now. Theo took Jeff Wilson. That was my plan.
Well, I like Jeff. I always am a sucker for Jeff Wilson. There's always a couple times a year where you really want to have Jeff Wilson in your starting lineup, and he's had some big performances. And for my build, I've got to take some shots.
Oh,
I like Wilson more than Mostert. I don't get why Mostert regularly goes before him. Mostert's a lot older. He has a long injury history. Give me Wilson there every time.
I mean,
they
a
went and got
difference.
Wilson last year, Alan. They went out and got Wilson because they weren't really, too satisfied with the running back room, and then they eventually moved on from Chase Edmonds. But I like the fact that they went out midseason and got him.
It's a gamble. I mean, in this draft, obviously you and I took them. It's 2 picks apart, so we feel the same way. It's a 50-50 bet. But my my Mostert lean was mostly based on our friend Cody Carpentier's report that that Mostert was the lead back. I mean, it's like I'm not expecting anything more than 4 or 5 weeks, and obviously if Jonathan Taylor's not traded there, it's like there'll be Mostert weeks and there'll be the good thing, guys, is they'll be clarified. Mostert will be hurt for a couple weeks and Wilson will be the starter. Wilson will be hurt for a few weeks and Mostert's the starter. So it'll be mostly clarified, or you're going to be thinking like, hey, I'm going to get 12 carries if I start him. A lot of reaction from the crowd there.
Well, yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I think you're spot on. And apparently the report just dropped that Miami made a offer for Taylor and it was turned down. So
right. By the way, the trade to get Taylor would have been take our second next year.
Yep.
And take Devon A-Chain. So it's a second and a third. That would have got it done.
Yep.
Do that, and you get Jonathan Taylor. And then
I don't know. I think the Colts are like hardlining this one, Alan. I think that it's a part of it's a,
So what would it be? I mean, McCaffrey went for a 2, 3, and a 4.
The Colts have all the advantage in this situation.
But wait, hold on. McCaffrey, the best running back in the market, went for a 2, a 3, and a 4. So Taylor, by that deductive math, goes for a 2 and a 3. Devon A-Chain was just drafted as a 3. A 2 and Devon A-Chain should get it done.
But you've got to pay Taylor. That's the problem.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think the Colts are using this as a way for JT to float out contract options to other teams so they can set the market. The market will set itself. He's going to end up seeing that he's not going to get paid as much as he wants. So just,
Stopa, do you think that's a fair trade though? A-Chain and a second for Taylor, and then you have to pay Taylor the $14 or $15 million a year for 2 years?
I think if he gets traded, that it's going to be something like that, but I don't think that A-Chain will get moved. So I think it's more likely to be a third plus some kind of player like that. But yeah, I mean, that's all in the ballpark.
There was some rumor. Who was the other teams I saw? So it was Dallas. It was Eagles. Obviously, DeAndre Swift, I was thinking, would be traded if it was a Taylor trade. Wouldn't that be funny, though? Because those guys were, at the top of most consensus. Right? The best one ever would be if he was traded to the Chiefs, because that was obviously the big mistake. They took Clyde Edwards-Helaire ahead of Jonathan Taylor when... If they took Taylor instead of Helaire, that would have solved all these problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say that about so many different teams
Yeah.
and so many different picks.
Yep. Hey, by the way, I was at a podcast yesterday, and somebody asked me, the question they asked me was, who was the biggest bust in NFL history? I want to go down the line. So there's a lot of ways you can interpret this. While we're making our picks here, Brandon Adam, who was biggest bust in NFL history?
Kyle Pitts. Just joking.
No.
No. I would say Jamarcus Russell probably. That's
Okay.
probably
He was paid $62 million.
Yeah. I would say
Fair enough. Mark Stopa, biggest bust in NFL history.
Tony Mandarich comes to mind for me. He was splashed on the cover of magazines, and so he's a little older, but kind of old school there. But he comes to mind for me.
Theo Greminger, biggest bust of all time.
So I will say, because I grew up in Washington, D.C., that the hype behind Heath Schuler was so big. Heath Schuler was supposed to be the greatest thing ever, and it was such a disappointment with his career. And I'll say the biggest bust ever, though, guys, was Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf was like the train wreck bust, and ends up doing time, and like all this crazy stuff went on with Ryan Leaf. But Jamarcus Russell's a great answer. Tony Mandarich, the fantastic answer. One of the most iconic Sports Illustrated covers of all time, the Incredible Bulk.
The Incredible Bulk, right?
When he went off the sauce, he couldn't do it.
All right, I got one for you. Hear me out here. So I would say that Russell is the biggest money bust of all time. I mean, and then I saw someone in our chat said Trey Lance. That's the biggest pick bust of all time.
Yeah, I would say that's a massive deficit.
But I have it for you. I have the answer. So it's not just about who's the worst player picked. It's about what was the opportunity cost. I'm going to say Mitch Trubisky. They traded up to get him, and they left Patrick Mahomes on the board.
Oh, man, that's a great answer.
Imagine that Chicago
is.
Bears took Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun.
Yeah.
I mean, Deshaun Watson, but Patrick Mahomes, a Mount Rushmore quarterback, was left on the board. So
Wow.
I think I win.
Yeah, I think
win,
that's
Alan.
a really good one.
Well, guys, we should let Alan win something in this tonight.
Yeah.
So,
He
he
won't be
can at
winning
least
that.
win that one.
Hey guys, put in the chat who the biggest bust of all time. Put in the
I think
chat.
so. I think this guy I'm drafting here is an option that could be something we see early in the season with Judy going down. Greg Dulcich. I think he could
love
hit the field quite a bit more.
He definitely gets helped a lot. He's really interesting for your DFS content too, because like he's gonna be in a tight end group with Troutman, but Dulcich was the former wide receiver and he was really steamed up in the summer, and now you're getting him at like pretty affordable price.
Yeah, I mean, 50% of his appearances when he was a full-time player was a tight end 10 on whenever he played a full-time role. So, the guy can
Theo,
go.
nothing like drafting 2 injured players in a row, Theo.
Yeah, I'm about it. DJ Shark and Jerome Ford, but I think Jerome Ford will be okay, Alan. You can tell by the lack of moves they've made. Like that's a team that considers themselves to be, very much in the mix, and they haven't gone out and got anybody. So I think Jerome Ford's going to be fine.
Yeah, no, that's
Shocking lack of moves. That's a great argument. Shocking lack of moves. Yeah.
And Felton too, Stopa. So it's like, Cleveland either doesn't really devalues running back depth after having Hunt for all those years, or they really do believe in Jerome Ford and Demetric Felton. So
yeah, either Chubb is going to be a lot better than we all think, and just massive 3-down back, or Ford is going to be a lot more valuable than he's getting ranked at because Chubb keeps his current role and Ford jumps into that, really valuable role that I think you're envisioning.
So what you're going to say is Chubb is huge.
great one, Alan.
Yeah, Chubb is massive this year.
I'm sure you're getting lots more listeners with chat like that.
I mean, come on. I mean, this is how we do it here, We go low-hanging fruit. Yeah, no, I think that's the best argument I've heard yet is that why haven't they made a move? I mean, I was going to say Demetric Felton, but, that guy is kind of like a scat back at best.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I like Felton, but Felton is a guy that, could be a wide receiver.
Felton is now rosterable in dynasty leagues that are 30 deep. That's the extent I'm willing to go.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, we're heading into. Go ahead.
I am taking Luke Musgrave here.
Great pick.
People, everybody talks about rookie receivers, and I like to talk about some of the guys who are, lower down in the ADPs. It looks like a reach if you look at ADP, and because he's a rookie tight end, but he is running with the first teamers exclusively. He's played just about every snap that Love has played in the preseason. He's their guy. He's young and athletic, so I think there's some upside here when you're talking about trying to win 250,000.
Not some upside. I mean, I would have taken Musgrave over Irv Smith, who you took 2 rounds ago. Musgrave was okay. Here we go, Theo. I've asked you this trivia question before. Luke Musgrave was a 3-sport state champion athlete in 3 sports in high school. What were 4 sports? What were those 4 sports? State champion.
Cross country skiing.
Yes. Oh, it was alpine skiing, but that's
okay.
We'll give it to you.
Wrestling,
obviously football,
and it's the state of Oregon. So I'm not going to guess he's a lacrosse guy.
That would be a great guess, but it's not.
If
lacrosse.
he grew up on Long Island, somebody would have put a stick in his hand.
In Sachem, right?
Yeah, or Oyster Bay or Roslyn. Shout out to, I live on Long Island, and Alan is a Long Island guy. I will say, I mean, basketball, it seems obvious because
it's not obvious.
It's going to be like something weird like volleyball.
It's not volleyball, but that's a great guess. Anyone else?
Track and field.
That's it. Track and field.
Okay.
Yep.
Football to track and field, it's not a huge leap.
Very good. Very good.
But
I think it was like
how come was that guy? I'm actually shocked, and he's actually from the same hometown as my co-host at First Class Fantasy, Billy Muzio, Bend, Oregon. How is it that the Bend, Oregon basketball coach let that kid be a wrestler, where he's 6'6" and runs a 4.5 40, 4.6 40, and the guy's this incredible athlete, and he's like, you know what, I'm good, coach. I'm gonna go wrestle against a bunch of 5'11" guys.
I mean, it's like Andre the Giant versus like whatever heel of the day that you go see at Nassau Coliseum. I mean,
that's a weird body frame for a high school wrestler too, because you think of like the heavyweight wrestlers are like nose tackle or offensive guard types, and maybe he was a lot lighter and just a beast. I mean, the guy's an NFL tight end, so he's a incredible athlete, but it's odd.
So, Stopa, I saw that you just took the Bills defense. What's their is that the Bills? What's their schedule like that you took them early on?
Well, they have the Jets in week 1, but what I like about them is they're very deep in the secondary. They've gotten healthier. They're very deep on the defensive line. I don't think there's been nearly enough chatter about that. And they have a late bye. Kickers and defenses, give me the guys with the late buys.
Yep. I mean, we've already seen Tucker go off the board. Jordan Love. Hey, Brandon Adam, Jordan Love. We like all of the receivers. There's a lot of optimism on Christian Watson. Do you think Jordan Love can be a sustainable for fantasy, a quarterback that could support the wide receivers?
Yeah, I think the Christian Watson is going to matches really well with Love's skill set. Big arm, fast, big physical receiver that can blow past everybody and attack the deeper third of the football field. So I like that match. I think Jordan Love is going to be fine. He got to do it the old school way. He's not going to be as jittery as like Anthony Richardson early in the season. I don't think. I think Love will be fine.
All right.
I'm going to take this rookie here. One of my favorite rookies, Michael Mayer. I think he has some opportunity in front of him with the Raiders.
I like that call. Are you in on Mayer, Theo?
Yeah, I mean, I like Mayer when you get down to this point in the draft. Like, the reports on Mayer are like he's such a good receiver, but he's struggling as a blocker. And at the end of the day, they don't have enough weapons on Vegas that they're going to be able to, slow play Mayer. I think that he's the kind of guy that you might have to have on your bench for 6, 7, 8 games of the season before you put him in your lineup. Kind of like a Pat Freiermuth situation, but Mayer was a elite prospect. We loved him on Dynasty at Player Profiler. We still love him on Dynasty at Player Profiler. We have Kincaid and Laporta and Mayer and Musgrave like higher than most sites. Like, we're very into this class.
We are very high on them as well. I think this class of tight end is exactly what it needed for the future here. I think we're going to be able to reduce that gap between tight end 1 to tight end 12. There's going to be a lot of talent coming.
Somebody's breaking the rookie tight end records. They're going down this year, maybe even more than one guy. There's just so many athletic, highly drafted rookie tight ends who are starting and are going to be running a ton of routes and split out wide, almost like a receiver. So, those old Mike Ditka records, goodbye.
You took Michael Wilson. So, and then, you took Gerald Everett. I like that pick there. But Theo, Michael Wilson, obviously we love him in Dynasty, but now they just traded for what was the quarterback that for the Browns is traded for?
Dobbs.
So does that mean they have no faith in the guys that they already have? Colt McCoy, Clayton Tune. Does that mean Dobbs
It also might mean that Kyler Murray, his return is way, way, way later than we think, Alan.
It should be.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw one. I don't recall which one it was, but a fairly strong like gambling analysis guy, like a Vegas, just a Vegas, not a tout, but more of a reporting on the gambling and the way it's going. And a lot of these bookies will do like a power ranking. They'll look at these NFL teams and they'll establish, how these guys should be in terms of lines and all that kind of stuff with like breaking down like by, different position groups and all the things that go into setting lines. And there's a couple of veteran books who think this Cardinals team is one of the worst teams that they've ever had to grade out.
Yeah, but we say that every year. We say that about like the Seattle last year. I mean, we always say it looks like, but you know what? You might be right though. They're trading for Josh Dobbs.
They're really, really, really bad.
They're actively tanking too. They're actively tanking.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Caleb, go ahead, Steve.
I like Wilson. I've been taking Wilson a lot late in these drafts. I think Michael Wilson is, the kind of frame we want for a wide receiver. And I think that he's got like, it was a weird situation where he wasn't really producing at Stanford, but at the Senior Bowl, he shined out. One of the better receivers there. They used day 2 draft capital on him, and he's a lot different than their other receivers. They have, Hollywood Brown's not your traditional outside guy. A lot of teams would put him in the slot and, move him around. And then Rondell Moore is predominantly in the slot, and Greg Dortch sounds like he could be on the way out. Michael Wilson's going to be on the field, and this is a team that's going to be in negative game scripts pretty much every single game. And Michael Wilson's the kind of guy that during, some course of the season, I think he would have been he's the kind of guy that I think at some point home leagues are making him a priority waiver wire addition, and I think it could be sooner than later. So I believe in his role, and I believe in kind of his talent, and I think the situation is they're gonna have to pass a lot more than they want, and I think they want to be a run first team with James Conner, but at the end of the day, you've got to have the lead to run in the NFL. So I'm on Michael Wilson. I'm taking shots. He's been kind of a sleeper for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mike. One of the third round wide receivers has to pop, right? Why can't it be Michael Wilson? He was already from the Senior Bowl all the way on. He was performing well. I saw a note today, guys, that I saw Sean Tucker was getting first team reps. I mean, Theo, everybody likes Rachaad White. Does anybody want to weigh in on Rachaad White? Like Sean Tucker coming on? Anybody have any thoughts about the Tampa Bay backfield?
Well, Rachaad White's insulated by his receiving ability, but it's how much volume he can handle between the tackles, I think. And I think Tucker is the cuff there.
Not Vaughn and not Chase Edmonds.
I don't think so. I think Chase Edmonds is nothing. And I think that Keyshawn Vaughn's never really been able to do it. So at the end of the day, like Rachaad White is not the kind of guy that's going to be able to handle 230 carries.
You don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that at all. So, and Sean Tucker's a talent. And I don't think it's like they're saying Sean Tucker got to run with the ones in practice, and that's like a big, huge report. But your backup running back does get opportunities with the ones a lot in practice. So it's not like some huge, news. But at the end of the day, Sean Tucker's would have been drafted if he didn't have the health concerns. Correct. They gave him a big amount of money to come there. Big amount of money by undrafted free agent status. So I don't know. I think it's fine.
Hey guys, so if you've enjoyed watching this live stream, and we still have like a couple rounds to go. I mean, the last 2 rounds is only for the hardcore. If you're not hardcore, sign off. We don't want you here. But if you love fantasy football, if you do multiple leagues, stay on because the 19th and the 20th round is coming up. And if you love videos like this, just click the like button and click the subscribe button. I also want you to go over to Player Profiler where Theo does all his content and click the subscribe button there. Mark Stopa, you follow him at Mark Stopa on Twitter. Brandon Adam, I'm shocked to find out that you don't participate in X in Twitter. Disgusting, but that's fine. I'll let you have it. You do have the Flex Network. What else?
Yeah, just contact us on Twitter at the Flex Network, and every Saturday we on YouTube we do DFS Army Fantasy Football Show. Yeah.
Fair enough.
And here we go.
All right, guys. This is where championships are made. And by the way, if you want to do one of these NFFC drafts, go to Play NFFC. Sign on to the RotoWire Online Championship. Oh, Sean Tucker, there he goes.
I was mad that you talked about him.
Oh yeah, it was table talk, but at this
That
point,
was absolutely that's the definition of table talk, Alan. Yeah.
I know. It's the dichotomy between doing content and and
Exactly.
not and being
Got to
a
talk
player.
about something, right?
Right. All right, hold on. You guys talk
We
through
can
this.
forgive Alan. We can forgive Alan. Take a look at his team. Cut him a little slack.
Not good
We got to
today.
be nice to him.
Not good. I gotta admit it.
So what do you think of each other's drafts? Who do you think has the most high upside to win this thing out of everybody?
You're stealing the show for tomorrow. I haven't studied everybody's teams yet. Honestly, I haven't gotten to study them all.
I'm gonna say Dalton Del Don's team, man. And again, I haven't studied each of them, but Dalton's pops out. For me, man, I'm a little disappointed in myself. Not because you know what? Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes you want to hate your team, and those are the teams that do the best.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Theo does here to close out. Hey, by the way, in the chat, let us know who has the best team. I know you can't see the names, but just name the team number that has the best team. I guarantee you it'll be me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think now who. Oh, good. Oh, right. Very.
I get the free look, guys.
All right.
So
I'm
if
gonna go.
Kansas City-
By the way, here you go. Here's a tip for everyone. Take the Washington Commanders defense. They play Arizona in Week 1.
Yeah, that's the low hanging fruit.
Yep. But yeah.
Well, I took Saints in their first.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
This is their schedule. They start out with Tennessee Titans, Carolina Panthers, Packers, Tampa Bay, Patriots, Texans. So
That's a good one.
It's a nice one.
All right. Let's see. Someone said Kelsey. Wait. Someone's got an echo going on. Who's that? How dare you interrupt my stream? Let me see if I can. Someone said they like Team 9. Who's Team 9? Team 9 is. We'll give out names on the air here. Team 9 is Goldman, my Irish friend. Let's see what he has. Yeah, it's pretty good. He's a good player. I've seen him do a couple drafts. He's pretty good. He competed against Jeff Erickson last night and beat Jeff Erickson. All right, guys. Also, if you want to get a free look at RotoWire right now, you can do so by going to rotowire.com/try. RotoWire paywall unlocks for 2 days. Also, I'll be on SiriusXM every Sunday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time with Jim Coventry. And then in season, starting the first Sunday of the regular season, I'll be on at 7 a.m. on Sirius. So if you wake up early for coffee, flip us on. And if you're on the West Coast, like my man Brandon Adam, what you'll do is you'll just rewind the app and you'll put us on and you'll get to hear us. So Dawson Knox, oh, there you go. That's a homer pick for Stopa. And we're getting down to the last. We'll keep it. We'll stick with you to the end here. We see everyone here. We got plenty of people watching. And also, remember, just click that like button, click the share button. It certainly lets us know that you enjoy content like this and lets us know that you want more of this. And also, subscribe to the RotoWire page, YouTube channel. And we're putting up new videos every day. We'll just go through it one more time because we have new viewers every few minutes here. Theo, let everybody know how they can find you and what you're looking at right now, what you're promoting.
Yeah, so you can find me at the OG Fantasy. I'm over at Player Profiler. You can find me on the Sonic Truth Dynasty podcast with Alan. We're going to be going, maybe once a month during the season. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. And then you can find me weekly on First Class Fantasy with Billy Muzio at 3:30 on Thursdays. And then my press coverage show has kind of been all over the place. Tomorrow, Curtis Patrick from RotoViz is going to be on at 1:30. He's really, really good. And then I'm also in the GOAT District on Wednesday nights, sometimes over at Player Profiler YouTube.
By the way, the guys that you do that GOAT District with, I mean, Dan and JD, I love those guys.
They're tremendous. They're in a draft tonight.
Yeah. I love those guys.
We have an FFPC main event draft we're doing on Wednesday night, and then Dan and I are in a NFFC Super on Sunday night. Dan Williamson's one of the best auction players in the country. He's really, really good, and he's really, really good in this format. And FFPC mains, and pretty much any way you play fantasy. So yeah, come over and check out Player Profiler.
Before we close out, Theo, real quick, we'll go down the line. Auction or snake draft? What do you like better if you have one draft for the entire year?
Snake.
Yep, me too.
I'm not an auction guy. Auction, yep. I like drafting multiple times in the day, like when I'm at Vegas and New York, and these guys that do these auction drafts, it's like taking the SATs. You got to be involved on every single pick. You feel tired after you do an auction. You can do a snake draft. We could do a back-to-back right now. We'd be fine.
Yeah.
Stopa, I know you disagree, so give the case for the auction.
I strongly disagree. It's like sex. There's no bad sex. Drafting or auction, it's like sex. But drafting is missionary sex. It's good, gets the job done. But the auctions are swinging from the chandelier. All the wild shit's coming out. Sex. Okay. What I like about auctions is
auction is like squeezing the balls. Squeezing the balls.
Access to every player. There's never a lull. Never a lull. There's never a wait. You can create all different types of strategies. You can set up your team however you want. To me, it's much more dynamic, more fun, especially if you can do them in person. If you get everybody there in person for an auction, that is the best sex you'll ever have.
All right, guys, I'm choosing right now between Joshua Kelly and Evan Hull. I'm going to take Josh Kelly. I heard don't love it. You know what? Screw that. I'm not taking Josh Kelly. I'm going to let Theo take him if he wants.
I have to take a kicker.
Okay. All right. So yeah. I'm going to take did Spiller go already? Did Isaiah Spiller go?
I just took him. Yes.
Oh, all right. So forget that. So I'm going to
I'm happy to snipe you in the last round.
Yep, no, that's good. I'm going to take Evan Hull if I can get him. But 3, 2. Oh, no. Shit. I'll take it. It's not bad. I meant to take Evan Hull. All right, guys. Funny. Beautiful live stream. Hey, Brandon, Adam, you were awesome. Appreciate you. Everyone else, subscribe to the YouTube page. Mark Stopa and I will be on tomorrow. We are going to be, here we go. Let's see your beautiful faces. There we go. We're going to be on at 10:30 tomorrow reviewing everybody's draft. And Theo, I mean, you're doing a podcast every day. I'll see you again. I'll be talking to you every day on the phone while you're mowing the lawn and babysitting your kids and eating ice cream and everything else.
No, guys, I didn't eat the ice cream. I took my kid to the ice cream parlor.
Fair enough. All right, boys.
I'm not buying a bunch of cookies and cream, guys.
Great draft, everybody. We'll see you next time. Tune back to the YouTube channel. We'll be back tomorrow with another podcast.